listeners. My name is Natasha Lamb, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and also founder of Perspectives Counseling of Northeast Florida, and also the creator of Calm Cues. I wanted to take some time this morning to talk about a challenge that I have been running into, but one that I'm determined to overcome. And this is in regards to access to mental health care as well as employer engagement in resolving issues that employees experience within an organization. So, right now we're in unprecedented times. There's anxiety that is at an all time high, depression is up. We know overdoses with substance abuse is up, and accidental drug overdoses are occurring due to an inability to cope with some of life's most difficult challenges. And so that is leading to there being an incredible boom of individuals who are in need of therapy. And while there are several therapists out there, the challenge is if everybody is in need of support and seeing a therapist, or a majority of people even, there are only so many clients that a therapist can have on their caseload. And so what happens is that you decide, you know what, I think I'm finally going to take a step to seek therapy. I may have been putting it off for most of my life, or it wasn't something that I think that I needed, but I believe that now is the time. So you pick up the phone, you find the closest five therapists in your immediate area that participate with your insurance, and you call each one only to find that they are booked out for the next 3 months to a year. Well, you can't wait that long to potentially see a therapist. You need help now. That's why you have come to this decision. Maybe things aren't going well in your life. Maybe relationships are falling apart. Maybe there's some issues with work that has contributed to your decision to seek therapy. And so you can't wait 3 to 6 months out. Your company has EAP. It's an amazing concept, right? It's the idea that if you use your EAP benefit, you'll have immediate access to a therapist. And for those of you who don't know what EAP is, it stands for Employee Assistance Program. And what happens is that some employers pay an EAP administrator for a bundle of sessions at no cost to the employee. The approved amount of sessions can range from anywhere between 3 sessions and at the highest maybe 10 to 12 sessions. And so the idea is that as an employee, you decide you want to use your EAP benefits, and you reach out to your EAP administrator and they give you a list of therapists that you can choose from. So I'm going to speak for a minute to the other side of what that looks like, because I am and have served as an EAP provider. So as the therapist, I'll receive an email saying, Susie Q wants to start therapy and she has been approved for 5 sessions. And so at that time, I wait until this particular individual calls my practice to schedule an appointment. And the idea is that as a provider, I am supposed to have availability to see this client within at least 5 business days. And if I don't have availability to see this particular client, then I would respond to the email and say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have the availability on my calendar. And the idea is that, okay, the employee or the client will choose another therapist who hopefully has the sooner availability. And so once the individual links with a therapist, they have 3 sessions, 5 sessions. Typically, I see what has come across my desk has been anywhere from 3 to 8 sessions. And 10 to 12 sessions, I'm usually like, wow, that's amazing, because it's very rare that I see employers that provide that amount of sessions. So in working with a individual who's using their EAP benefit, 2 to 3 of those sessions are rapport building. The very first session, if you're not aware, in meeting with a therapist is an informational gathering session. It is really the therapist asking several questions to assess the needs of the client to make a determination about how this client can best be served. So that's one of the sessions that is basically not therapeutic at all, that is being used by the client and the therapist to establish what are the needs for the client. So the second and third session is really rapport building. The therapist is really working with the client to establish a bond with the client to be able to explore deeper issues that exist. If an employee only has 3 sessions that they're approved for EAP, therein lies the problem. The time to establish rapport is cut significantly short because there's an urgency that, okay, I've got to get you something so that you've got some kind of tools to be able to deal with whatever it is that you're experiencing so that you can see some improvement in daily functioning. For 6 to 8 sessions, okay, if 2 to 3 of those initial sessions are for rapport building, that leaves 5 sessions. But what if it's not a good fit? Sometimes, just like a doctor, you seek services and you just find that there's something about the doctor, or in this case, the therapist, that you don't connect or click with. Does that mean that those sessions don't count? No, they absolutely do. So whatever the grand total was of sessions that were approved, there's the idea that now you've just cut that down significantly, attempting to establish a relationship with a therapist who is not a good fit. So now you have maybe 3 or 4 sessions, and in a better case, maybe 6 sessions to try to find another therapist and start the process all over again. That sounds very stressful because there's the idea I've only got 6 sessions left, and if 2 to 3 of those sessions are used for information gathering and building rapport, that still only leaves me about 3 sessions to actually be able to get something done. The other piece that I'm leaving out is, what if the reason for EAP is not just immediate? Like, it's not just what's happened in the last 3 to 6 months. There are some serious underlying issues from childhood, from young adulthood, that are also contributing to the challenges that the employee or the client is having. EAP is short solution focused therapy, so it's very directed in addressing immediate needs and not what those underlying issues are. So, best case scenario, let me give an example. An individual finds an amazing therapist out the gate. They have those 8 sessions to work together. Everything is amazing. The employee leaves feeling renewed and refreshed and has a new take on, okay, where do I go from here? Only to return to an organization that has been central to the problems that the employee is experiencing. What do I mean by that? How is leadership within the organization? Are the strategies being used by the organization communicated in a way that is to help the employee succeed, or is the employee being torn down in the process? And the thing that's interesting to me about EAP is that it suggests that, okay, if you're not coping or dealing well with what we do here, go to therapy about it. But the employee has a relationship with the employer. And the thing about relationships is that it's meant to be two-sided. So the employee is going, getting all of these amazing tools and resources, only to return to the environment that's toxic in nature, that may have created the issues that are occurring. What then? What if they've exhausted all their sessions? Oh, well, if their employer offers EAP, certainly there has to be a mental health benefit. They can just use their insurance. But we well know that with managed care, for several plans, there is a high deductible. And if we're dealing with the rising cost of food, gas, and other necessities that it takes to get through the day, do these same individuals have the ability to put a significant amount of money towards their sessions to be able to cover the cost of what it is to see a therapist? So that leads to individuals knowing that they're in need of treatment and knowing that they need support, but they cannot afford it, and they've exhausted their EAP sessions because those are only approved on an annual basis. And so it perpetuates the cycle of an employee attempting to get help to improve their situation and their ability to cope, but what changes are being made within the organization to be able to support this employee, whether it is poor communication amongst leadership, whether it's very pressing demands. I have worked with a host of clients using EAP benefits that come from the same organization. And I've often wondered, at what point does the organization do some self-reflection to see how they may be harming their employees more than they are helping them? So what myself and my team are suggesting is really examining employee culture and the culture within organizations that lead to low employee engagement, high turnover, difficulty attracting diverse talent, to the degree that the organization is suffering and just assuming that the way to fix their problems are to use programs and systems that are not necessarily working. Myself and my team have implemented Calm Cues for Self, which are a protocol or set of steps that employees and leaders can follow to be the best versions of themselves personally and professionally. We cannot be the best at parenting, the best as a leader, as an employee, as a friend, as a neighbor, if we are not improved and healthy versions of our core selves. And so Calm Cues are to help employees develop confidence. It's to help employees develop strong leadership abilities and being in tune with their emotions to be able to express their needs, to have those difficult conversations with their employers, to be able to get whatever supports that are needed in place. Quick story is that I worked for corporate America for a well-known insurance company for over 10 years. And working within this organization, I was able to work from home. And this is when working from home was like non-existent. So being that my production was great and my quality was great, I was granted this amazing liberty to be able to work from home. But the production standards were astronomically high. It was to the degree that I barely felt that I had time to breathe or take a breath while I was on the clock, because the employer wanted to make sure if they could not lay eyes on me, that they wanted to know that I was being productive. And what way to do that other than making the standards near impossible to reach? And given that we, due to COVID, are in a work from home climate, how many other organizations have this same thought where we're going to make these production standards so high that we know the employee is doing nothing but working, given that they are not in the office? And so I want to challenge organizations to be willing to take a look at what can you do as an organization to be able to address the needs of your employees in-house, and not just depending on a program that employees may or may not use to resolve the issues. You begin to examine the issues that exist by being willing to take a long and hard look at what are we not doing well, and by being willing to make those admissions can redirect your focus to working with an organization such as mine to be able to implement solutions for those problems that exist. If you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much for taking time to listen. And if you are wanting to reach out to our organization for support on how to develop programs that improve the culture of your organization on a day-to-day basis, please feel free to email us at info@calmcuesbyperspectives.com. You can also find us at our website, which is calmcuesbyperspectives.com. We look forward to hearing from you and wish you nothing but the best for the success of your organization and its employees. Again, my name is Natasha Lamb. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, founder of Perspectives Counseling of Northeast Florida, and also the creator of Calm Cues. We hope to hear from you, and until next time, take care.